Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be doing a review and comparison of the Nintendo Switch Lite. I'm going to do the review last and come to a conclusion if you should get the system or not. First, the comparison. So, the normal box of the Nintendo Switch, this is an older version of course, but the older why do I keep saying the old version of it? The box of the Switch is pretty large, and it says Nintendo on top of it, just like the rest of them. And yeah, it shows what the Switch can do on the sides. It shows what you got in the box. There you go. The new Nintendo 2DS XL box is much smaller, and just says 2DS on the sides, and on the back it shows a bit of what you can do. So it says a bunch of important information on it. And yeah, the Switch Lite box is slightly bigger than the 2DS box. And yeah, it shows Switch Lite. Of course, I got the turquoise one because it's my favorite out of the three. The Nintendo Switch Lite comes in three colors: turquoise, which is this one, yellow, and gray. And I think a Pokemon Sword and Shield special edition is going to come out eventually, but right now we have the three colors. Yeah, it shows the Switch Lite in the hand, because that's basically all that it does. It's just a handheld system. And on the on the bottom of it, it shows a couple of warnings, what's included, which is just the Switch Lite and the AC adapter. And yeah, they all say Nintendo on the front of them. Well, not on the front, on the tops of them. Even the 2DS. Sorry, throat's a bit sore, but the normal Nintendo Switch comes with two Joy-Con that connect to the system, a AC adapter, and a dock, as well as a grip for the Joy-Con. The Nintendo 2DS only comes with the system and the AC adapter. And the Switch Lite, it's the same story. System and AC adapter. And yeah. The size of the Nintendo Switch is pretty big and bulky, which means it cannot fit in the pocket too well. It sticks out a lot. However, the 2DS fits in just like your average cell phone. The Switch Lite is a little bit more bulkier, but it fits in pretty okay. Unfortunately, I don't have a screen protector on this Switch Lite yet. And comparing the size and the weight, there's a Switch Lite, the Switch, and the 2DS. Yeah, there's a size comparison for you. 2DS has a circle pad, D-pad, face buttons, C-stick, start and select, ZL and ZR, and L and O. The normal Switch has a also there's the power, stylus, headphone jack, micro SD card and game card slot, volume, which clicks into place once you push it all the way down. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, I also forgot that the 2DS has a camera here and here, and onto the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch has a game card slot, headphone jack, exhaust port. Well, not really ports, like the exhaust vent, power, volume rocker. It's not a slider like the 2DS, it's a rocker, which is basically like 2 buttons. Got the kickstand, micro SD card under it, and that's the console. However, the Joy-Con on the right one, got your face buttons, analog stick, home button, ZL, wait, what am I talking about? ZR and R, plus button, SL and SR, and sync button, so you can sync it. Got the indication, player indication. And on the left one, got your directional buttons, / face buttons, depends on how you hold the controller. Analog stick, L button, ZL button, the release button, which is also on the right one, SL and SR, sync button, and the capture button as well as the minus button. And they connect to the console like this. The Switch Lite, however, has game card slot, headphone jack, the exhaust vent, volume rocker, but this one's more out compared to the normal Switch, if you look extremely closely. Got your face buttons, which feel much like the Pro Controller, and got your 2 analog sticks, home button, catch button, and a D-pad instead of D buttons, minus, plus, ZL and ZR, L and R, AC charging, well not AC, well the charge port, and the Switch has it in the same place. Intake, Switch has that, and then it doesn't have a kickstand, it's all flush, and no SL and SR buttons. It has micro SD card slot right there, and yeah, that should be a good comparison between all 3 systems at this time. The 2DS isn't going to be around for much longer, I don't think, but still is a great little system. And the Nintendo Switch, both consoles, are going to be around for a pretty long time. And let's get on to the review of the Switch Lite. Okay, on to the review of the Nintendo Switch Lite. Wait a minute, did I already say that? Yeah, whatever. The Nintendo Switch Lite is a nice little portable console. Comparable to the Switch in size and weight, the Switch is much bigger and bulkier. If you want just a dedicated handheld console, I would recommend getting the Switch Lite, and also it's a much cheaper price than the normal Switch. Unfortunately, the Switch Lite cannot dock, unlike the normal Switch, which can connect to the TV via dock. The Switch Lite does not fit. The analog sticks get in the way, as well as a couple of the buttons. If you do actually disassemble the dock and connect it that way, it still won't work, because the chip that is used to output video which is in the Switch, is not in the Switch Lite. So unfortunately, you can't. And also, there's little indentations on the normal Switch. And there's no indentations on the Switch Lite, except for this back one, which is a bit weird, but I'll get onto that in a second. The Nintendo Switch Lite, the buttons feel much like the Pro controller, which I have over here. The ZL and ZL and ZR feel much like the Pro controller. However, L and R feel much like the normal Joy-Con. The analog sticks are basically the same from the normal Switch, except they're in a white color. The speakers are further back in the system, probably around here somewhere, and the sound is being directed out the bottom, much like the 2DS. But with the 2DS, your hands would cover up the speakers, but the Switch Lite, it doesn't really cover up the speakers that much. The Switch Lite screen is much smaller than the normal Switch, except it still retains the same 720p display. So it's the smaller display, but same pixel count makes the screen look much sharper. The D-pad feels a lot like the Game Boy Advance and the Nintendo DS D-pad, and yeah, I can't speak today. The Switch Lite never has really overheated on me, neither the Switch, but I would recommend keeping it out of hot environments. The left intake vent is not really being used, but the right one is, right as in this side of the system. The right intake vent is being used, but the left one's not, which is a bit strange if you think about it, but I guess it works that way. Should you buy it? If you're moving from a Switch V1 and you just want a portable handheld experience, I would recommend this. But if you want to still have the normal Switch but more battery life, I would recommend just getting the Switch V2, which is the new revision of the Switch, which has much longer battery life, even longer than this. Even though the Switch Lite's battery is much smaller, the processor that they put in the revisions is much more much more power efficient. So yeah, I think the Switch Lite is a real good small handheld console, because I always like a good handheld. My rating of this is about 9 out of 10. It's too bad that it cannot connect to the TV, but of course that's expected at this point, which doesn't really affect the score. But what does affect the score of my rating is the analog sticks. They're the same as the Joy-Con, and the Joy-Con had a stick drift issue, which would, since the analog stick is moving when really it was not, when really it was standing in one place. Analog sticks don't stand, well, staying in one place. Yeah, if you need a Switch but don't care about connecting it to the TV, I'll get it. But if you want your Switch to connect to the TV, I'll get the normal Switch. Since the Switch Lite is a single unit, it's much more robust than the normal switch. So if you have a child, you can probably get it for them. They won't really break it as much as the normal switch, but I would recommend getting a screen protector, of course. And one of the weird quirks about the switch lite, you can connect a controller to it, so that's a bit weird, but it's the switch, so it makes a lot of sense. And the only way you're gonna play with games that require the Joy-Con, you're gonna have to sync the Joy-Con to it and play with the Switch either flat on the table like this, or use a stand which is sold separately to prop it up like that. I got this stand at Walmart, and it's an official charging stand. I would recommend getting it with the Switch Lite if you need it. I usually use the charging stand as kind of like a little cradle for the Switch Lite. You probably didn't see it off camera, but yeah. And yeah, that's about it for the review. There you go. The Switch Lite is much more portable, so I already said that, but yeah. That's about it for the review, and yeah, see you around.